Stop for a second, and before you watch another second of this video or listen to another second of this podcast, I want you to do something that most investors actually avoid doing. I want you to go into your banking app right now. Do me a favor, open up your banking app and scroll down to the last payments that you have sent to your cold calling company over the last few months. Was it $3,000, $5,000, maybe even $10,000 you're paying per month? Now, I want you to do me another favor and go into your CRM and open it in another tab and look at the number of leads, look at your pipeline, and look at specifically at the closed won column. And ask yourself a brutally honest question, please. Did that payment actually buy you deals, or did it just buy someone else another month's of overhead? Because here is the dirty secret in real estate investing industry that almost nobody talks about publicly. And that is a huge number of cold calling companies that are out there are not built to create deals. They are built to generate activity reports for you and your business. An activity report don't actually grow your business, but they do grow their business. And you know what the scary part is? Is that most investors are so freaking busy trying to scale that they never stop long enough to realize that the machine that they're paying for isn't actually producing anything. Guys, let me go ahead and tell you when this reality hit me in the first place. This was years ago. I was actually where many of you are listening are right now. I had this agency running my cold calls. And like clockwork, every single week, they sent me this beautiful report. Thousands of dials being made, hundreds of conversations being had. And you know what? Dozens of quote-unquote leads added to my CRM. The graphs looked incredible. You had all these green arrows and green check marks everywhere that everything was going on track. And the owner was actually on a Zoom call with me celebrating back then, I remember. He's saying, "We're crushing it," he said. But then when I opened my bank account that same evening, something just didn't feel right? That gut feeling wasn't there. My acquisition team was starving for real opportunities. They were waiting for real leads. We had thousands of freaking logged calls, but almost nothing was closing. And I remember just sitting there and just thinking there for a second, how can there be this much activity and this little revenue in my bank account? That question started a rabbit hole that changed the way I see this entire industry. Because once I stopped looking at the reports and started listening to the actual call recordings of the calls that were being made, the truth became impossible to ignore. Cold calling companies, guys, have mastered what's something very dangerous. They're mastered the illusion of progress. And here is how it works. They sell you dashboards. They sell you numbers. They sell you KPIs. $10,000 this week. We got 300 conversations that week. We had 50 leads added into your CRM. And unfortunately, when you see those numbers, it feels like your business is moving forward. But here's the uncomfortable truth that you must know. Activity is the easiest freaking metric in the world to manipulate. A dial will count in their book even if the phone number just rings. A 3-second call where you have someone telling you, "Hey, this is a wrong number," will count as a conversation. A confused homeowner who's asking on the other end, "Who the heck is this?" before hanging up on the cold caller is labeled, well, a possible cold lead. So you end up with reports that look like a freaking Ferrari dashboard. But when you try to drive the freaking car, there's no engine. There's no movement. You did not buy a sales system. You bought noise that was sold to you. Here's the part most people do not realize soon enough, and that is the majority of cold calling companies, they were not built by investors in the first place. They were built by agency founders. They were built by people who figured out that they could hire cheap freaking labor, callers overseas, put them in front of a dialer, start the freaking campaign, and sell a lead generation quote unquote service to investors who just wanted the phone to start ringing. So the entire system was just optimized for one thing and one thing only, and that is volume. More dials, more calls, more callers on your campaign, more dashboards. But real estate does not come from volume. The deals come from understanding the people on the other end, understanding the motivation on the other end, understanding if there's enough equity in the first place, understanding distress. And if your caller does not even know what that freaking means, then they are not actually prospecting. They're just wasting their time. They're telemarketing. And in today's market, today's day and age, homeowners do not sell their houses to telemarketers or even worse, AI agents. Every investor watching this has seen it, I promise you. You open up your CRM and it looks freaking full and amazing. Thousands of records been dialed, hundreds of leads being added into your CRM. But when you look closer, you see tags like wrong numbers, not interested, or do not call by your acquisitions team, or follow up in 6 months, or follow up in 12 months, even worse. Guys, which we all know that actually means that this person was not and will never sell to you. What I call this is a pipeline graveyard. This is where deals end up to die. This is where deals just do not close. And the painful part, guys, is that most investors that I speak to are paying thousands of dollars a month to maintain a system that does not work. And here's a hidden cost that almost nobody calculates. And that is when you have a bad cold calling company calling your leads, you do not just waste your time and money. You actually burn your reputation in the first place. You're calling homeowners who get annoyed by hearing from you. Your brand gets associated with spam in your neighborhood. Your company becomes that investor who keeps calling me and having bad people calling me. And suddenly, the very market that you're trying to build relationships in starts rejecting you before you even speak. Guys, that damage is going to compound over and over time, which means that you're not just paying for ineffective marketing. What you are paying for is to also make your future deals harder. That exact stupid frustration is why REI Pros exists in the first place. Not because we wanted to build another call center. We are the investors. But because we were tired of watching this in the first place. Tired of watching investors buy a broken system that never freaking works. We did not build a dialing factory for you. We built a pipeline machine that actually delivers. At REI Pros, we do not celebrate when you have a nice looking dashboard and 1,000 dials made. We celebrate when our clients are sending us text messages and Slack notifications that they are at the closing table because the deals are closing. Because dials do not pay your bills. Deals pay your bills. And if the conversation does not show real seller motivation in the first place, real equity on the other line, and real timeline of when they want to sell, we do not even send it to you in the first place. Because junk leads do not build businesses. They birdie businesses. This is a Still Building podcast. I hope you enjoyed this message. I'll see you on next week.